Okay, so now we're going to add hands to our person. For that, we're going to grab each of the end polygons of our object. As you can see, our arms aren't quite shaped differently to the rest of the body yet, so we'll get to that later. But for now, we're just going to extrude an extra bit. And there are two different ways to make hands. One is called the mittens approach. You just get a giant glove-like thing and make your person look as though they're wearing mittens, which we'll start by doing. That looks check patterny because of the object being half visible, but as you can see there, that is basically, I'll just put our arm to a more normal size, but that is the quick, easy way of making a hand on a person. If you want to get a more complex hand, you can then cut up the edge of your fingers. You should then have the lines falling down the rest of the mesh, but you don't have to. I'll just make it completely visible now. And so we've got the end of that. We're going to use the cut tool. I'll just select the polygons we're going to be working with, which it doesn't want me to do. Right. I'm just going to unselect our cut tool so it lets me zoom in. But in fact, we should probably do this another way. Right. In that we want a person to have 5 fingers and a thumb, so we're going to connect segments. We'll have a couple of segments for each one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we don't need that many, but we can weld those together later. We can move them around the hand if we want to. I'm just going to leave them in the middle. And pinch brings them closer or further apart. Once again, I'm just going to put them in the middle and merge them myself. So we'll have that. And at the moment, we don't really need these end vertices because they're going to get in our way. So 1, 2, so now we have 5 fingers there. Except our thumb we're going to do separately again, so I'll just merge the top one down by welding the vertices together. So now we have 4 fingers. Because we're using the 4 fingers, we probably don't need to have this shape on the end of our hand. So I'm just going to select these and try and line them up a bit more. Before we attempt to extrude out our fingers, but we're going to extrude them by polygons so they're each an individual object facing their own separate direction. So now if we drag them apart, we have 4 fingers on our hand. Except normally our fingers aren't that wide, so we're just going to crush our hand effectively. Which means we should probably add in wrist later to account for what we've done. So we've got 4 fingers. Normally fingers have 3 joints. Well, they've got the knuckle, the other knuckle, and the other knuckle, because I don't know what they're called. And depending on how detailed you want your animations to be, you can add those in. For the moment, I'm just going to leave it with generic fingers. But if you want it to be realistic detailed animation, you will want to put each of those knuckles in separately, the same way we did the elbows with a gap around each of them. Now, because we connected as before, we're going to have to swap back to one to put our wrist in. I'll just move that a bit close to our hand and straighten it up. And move the entire hand out so it looks normal shape for a person. Now, I'm going to look underneath our arm, and we're going to connect around that wrist, once again, so that we can get a plane to bring out for our thumb. So now we only have one of them. We can swap to grouping by normals, just in case we decide to extrude normally later. And with that finger, we're going to bring it into shape it like a finger. And since I'm only doing the one knuckle again, I'm just going to bring it around to take the position of a thumb. Which means I should also rotate it to be pointing in the similar direction to the top of our hand. And that is a quick and easy hand with fingers, but no extra knuckles for animation purposes.